Hello and welcome back to Antique Central. In this week's video we're off to the Urban Auction House. I've had a look at the pre-sale photographs online and there's one item I'm quite keen to get my hands on. So come along, see how I get on, and I'll reveal at the end of the film whether or not I managed to win the item I've got in mind. But before I reveal the item I'm interested in, let's take a look at some of the other lots that are up for sale today. The first item that caught my attention was this vintage charcoal drawing of a nude, and what put me off was the size of her right hand. It's unsigned and to me it looks like it's been done by an amateur or an art school student. I would expect that to sell for around £20 to £30. The second item to catch my attention was this hand-coloured print of an elderly gentleman from the early part of the 20th century. It's kind of rent an ancestor territory for me, and again I would expect this to sell at the auction for up to around £15 to £20. They can surprise you, these. Just depends on the image, and the older and uglier the gentleman, the more they tend to sell for, in my experience anyway. This is quite interesting. This is a Japanese piece of wall art, and it's precious stones, onyx, mother of pearl, etc. It's three-dimensional, so it's not a print. They're actually carved pieces, and it's representing a naturalistic display. And this is probably the most valuable of the three items so far, and I would estimate this would sell in the region of £50 at the auction. Here's a bit of sporting memorabilia, and it's a signed Geoff Hurst football shirt. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Geoff Hurst, he was the first player ever to score a hat-trick in the World Cup final, which was held in England in 1966. Now, obviously, this isn't his actual shirt. That would be worth tens of, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds, but it's a genuine signature with a certificate of authenticity. I'm advised it is a proper shirt as well, and alongside it is a Tyson Fury signed framed print, or collection of 4 prints. The Geoff Hurst signed shirt I would imagine would go for in the region of £30 to £40. Tyson Fury a lot less, perhaps up to £10. Now, this is also related to the England 1966 World Cup final win, and this is Gordon Banks, the goalkeeper. It's his autograph. So not quite as valuable as the Geoff Hurst autograph, although I have to say, sadly, Gordon Banks has passed away, and I believe Geoff Hurst is still alive. This is probably more up my street, a collection of 3 pairs of antique brass candlesticks. There you can see the ejector in the bottom of that one. And also there's the ejector in that second pair. Quite lightweight, these first 2 pairs. The third pair, however, were probably the pick of the bunch, and actually had a date of 1902 on them. They were also extremely heavy, but I did consider putting a bid in for these, but I just think I've got far too many candlesticks up for sale on my Antique Central website as it stands. The next item that caught my eye was this boxed set of precision balance scales. Now, don't be deceived by these, because they sell for around £30 to £40. They look impressive, especially when they're boxed up or cased up, but they're not worth that much really. In front of us here is a set of 4 small oil paintings. Now, I'm not sure whether they're actually oil paintings or whether they're what you call oleographs, which are prints onto canvas and then they're varnished on top to make them look old. Not 100% certain, and I'm not going to buy them, so I'm not really going to make any inquiries with the auctioneer, but I would always check with the auctioneer before making a bid on items like that. Now here we have a set of 4 art or studio plates, and looking at the name, it's part of the aquarium range. They're monotone, black and white. As I said, a set of 4. I don't know if this is the complete set or not, and I think this could be a bit of a sleeper. They're by Minton, but traditionally art or wall plates don't sell that well, but in fact I estimate these to sell for approximately £50 each. There's a delightful little hand-painted framed portrait of a child, and your typical jars of vintage coins. They're all Cupro nickel. Doubt there's any silver in there at all. The cabinets are always interesting to have a look at. They normally contain the high value items such as silver, gold and other precious metals, jewellery, etc. I asked to have a little look at this one particular brooch. You'll be amazed to find out. Not my kind of scene, but as I said in an earlier film, I am going to widen my portfolio of listed items. It struck me as being arts and crafts, well, of the arts and crafts period, and it's copper and it has a pewter plating on it. I don't know anything about jewellery at all, so it would have been a complete punt. I would estimate it would go for around the £20 mark, but I'm not sure whether or not I will bid on it. It could be a bit of a sleeper. If it's made by a particular designer, then they increase in value dramatically. But I did Google it, have a quick look on Google Images, couldn't see it. And a lot of arts and crafts jewellery doesn't sell for that much, around the sort of £20 to £30 mark. So I would have had to have got it for £5 or £10, and that wasn't going to happen. Here we have a pair of silver-plated peacocks. Now, these traditionally are used as menu stands on tables. I have sold them in the past, but they're not selling particularly well at the moment. These are the more unusual, larger versions, and there are 2 of them. This lot is interesting. It's Militaria, and using my schoolboy German, the word on the front of the album says Warm Memories. No, I think it's it's definitely empty, but I think it's from the Second World War period. I don't think it'd be First World War, which would make it a lot more valuable. Pretty sure it's the Second World War, and the photos have long been removed. Now, one of the questions I've got is that this leather satchel, if you want to call it that, looks like it belongs to a British serviceman from the Second World War period. So I'm wondering if they go together and whether he actually obtained that from or during the Second World War. I'm not sure. It's not something I'm going to bid on, don't know enough about it. But moving on swiftly, this is more up my street, and it is a solid brass antique doorstop. Now we know it's a doorstop because it's completely flat on the back, which means you can push it up against the door. It's a fox. The casting quality isn't brilliant, I must admit. I think it's British. I'd probably have a bid on it if I could get it for around £5 to £10. Here we have a small tantalus. Not sure if there's a key. Quite often the auctioneers keep the key safe so it doesn't go missing during the auction. They're not lead crystal, judging by the weight, and I would say they're probably early 20th century, perhaps pre-war. Not entirely sure what the hardwood is either. Here we have a job lot of vinyls, AC/DC, which Rainbow I think that was, and vinyls are selling very well at the moment. They're extremely collectible, but the value very much depends on the condition of the sleeve as well as the vinyl itself. ELO, that's my local Birmingham band, Electric Light Orchestra, Jeff Lynne. And this is actually, this job lot has actually got quite a few interesting albums in it. Steve Miller, Aswad, Status Quo. So definitely some collectible albums in there. It's not something I buy and sell, so I'll be passing on it, and good luck to whoever picks that up. I don't know what it would go for. Probably around the £20 mark. Don't know. Completely guessing on that. Here is a very nice 1950s, 60s picnic set. And it looks, other than one plastic box, it looks like it's complete. I have sold these before, and they tend to sell to people with vintage cars, and they use them as props in the back of the car or in the boot of the car. This is an attractive colour, red and white, definitely of the period, and I would value this at around, sale-wise, retail around £25, so I would have to pick it up for around the £5 to £10 mark, and again, that's not going to happen at this particular auction, which is literally jam-packed full of other dealers, and they will all have their eye on this as well, so it will go to the top end of the estimate, no doubt.
Yeah. What is it, 50s? 50s? Yes, 50s, 60s, yeah. People buy them for the classic cars. Yeah, they put them in the boots of the classic cars or on the back seat. You know, when they go and show off the cars, vintage.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a chap next to me. He's got one.
Yeah. So they for the, if it's the right age, 50s, 60s, they'd put that in, you know, in the back of the car. Yeah. People don't buy them for picnics, but I suppose you could use it, couldn't you?
Yeah. Not this weather, you wouldn't.
No. Anyway, good luck.
Shout. I will. It's sat right behind this here. I want that. I'm going to move that.
Where's Kate? Oh, she's over there.
Now, this is one item I wanted to have a look at, actually, for myself, for my desk in my office. It's a perpetual calendar, and it's chrome on steel, and it's in good working condition. Quite often these are damaged or they don't work properly, and this is in good condition. I think it looked great on my desk in my office. So if I do bid on this, I would go quite high. I'd go up to retail for it, as it's for myself and not for resale, but I wouldn't really want to pay more than about £25 for it. It's called a perpetual calendar because you can roll the date on month by month, day by day, in perpetuity. But knowing me, I'd probably run out of patience with it, and it would just sit there stuck on the last date I set it to. So I won't be too bothered if I don't actually win this at the auction. Here is a pair of carved shoe forms. They're adjustable and hinged, and you would push these into your boots or your shoes so they keep their shape. Here's a lovely hand-carved hardwood Buddha, seated Buddha. Typical of its kind, a tourist piece. Heavy. I doubt if it's marked anywhere. I'm not going to bid on it, so I'm not going to check. I would estimate that would probably go in the region of £15 to £20. Here's an item that caught my eye. It's a very small West German, probably Zurich ceramic vase. It has the pattern number on the base, which in this case is 237-15. 237 is the shape or the mould, and 15 is the height in centimetres. What I like about this particular West German vase is the flash of red. They're much more popular than the plain brown cream versions. So if you do see one of these mid-century West German vases and they are colourful, then snap it up, if of course you can buy it at the right price. Here are a pair of copper kettles. Again, I would have been interested in these in the past, but I've got so much metalware that isn't selling at the moment that I will pass them by. But they are of their type, they are attractive, they're in good condition. Always check the handles aren't loose, the spout isn't loose, and if you are going to bid on them, or if I was going to bid on them, I would check the inside as well, just to make sure there are no holes, which although they may be decorative, people don't particularly like items with holes in them. Price wise, well, scrap value's quite high for copper at the moment, so I would expect these to go for around the £15 mark for the pair, possibly a little bit more. There you go. I did have a look at the base, no holes, but equally no maker's mark either. Could have worn off over use and time. They're well made. Don't think they're a matching pair, are they? They might be. Yeah, they might be a matching pair as well. I will keep my eye on those when the auction starts. You always need extra plastic tubs, but I'm not in the market today. Now, here is the item, the star item I've come for. This is a mid-century teak magazine rack. It's in fantastic condition for its age. If you think it's possibly 50 to 60 years old, hardly any scratches on it anywhere. I'm sure it's designer made. In other words, it's a named piece, and I'm going to buy that. So hopefully I can get it for around the £15 to £20 mark. Good old galvanised steel fire bucket. They sell well. It's not in particularly good condition, but it would sell for around the £20 to £25 mark. It is totally authentic. There's a lot of reproductions on the market, but that is obviously original. This is a nice little medicine or bathroom cabinet, and it's steel with a little brass handle. Shelf inside, they're actually displaying it upside down, or somebody, one of the buyers has had a look at it and put it back down, upside down. I don't know. It's got some foxed glass on the front. It's certainly pre-war. Would be interested in this, even with the glass. Cleaned up and waxed. They sell well, and you could possibly sell this for between £40 and £60 resale. So if I could pick this up for around £10 to £15, then I would have a bid on this, although I think a lot of people will have their eye on it. Now here is a fantastic set of vintage step ladders, wooden obviously, and well used, nice patina, some original paint. A lot of these are reproduced. Well, when I say reproduced, they're old ladders, but they have paint thrown on them deliberately to give them a much more aesthetic appeal. I've got a set that I'm going to be selling in the next auction, or possibly the next one after that. So I'll be interested to see what they go for. Here is a 20th century reproduction chair, hand carved. So a very nice chair, but not for me. When I had the shop, it may have been something I would have been interested in, but on this occasion, not for me. And here's a lovely antique 19th century, well, late 19th century, early 20th century chair. And one of the buyers, one of my fellow dealers, is very kindly displaying it for me. It is actually a rocking chair with a rattan seat. Again, when I had the shop, that's something I would have been interested in, but not for me today. And here is a 1980s, I would estimate, so contemporary chair. So what we'll do now is have a quick look and see if I was able to win the mid-century magazine rack that I specifically went to buy.
Okay, lot 136 is a magazine rack. Here we are, MCM1. Where should we start that? That is actually designed by Guy Rogers. There we are. Do about 40 quid. Let's start with a tenner. See where we go for it. Mid-century one. This Guy Rogers. Tenner. 8 quid for it then. 8 I've got. We give it 10. We give it 10 I've got. 12. 14 do you want? 16. No? 16. 16. 18.
So it's now the morning after the night before, and we're back in the studio at Antique Central. So the big question is, did I win the item I was bidding for? In other words, did I win the teak mid-century magazine rack? Well, the answer is yes, I did. I actually won it. Burning question everybody will have is, what did I pay for it? Well, I paid... Well, the winning bid was £20, and on top of that, you have to pay 10% on the hammer price and a £1 fee per item as well. So in total, I paid £23 for it. Now, what's interesting is it was sold as a Guy Rogers magazine rack. Now, I've had a couple of Guy Rogers catalogues over the years, and I've never seen a magazine rack in them. So I've done a bit of research, and I believe this to be a Fine Lady Furniture magazine rack. Still mid-century, and still a very good manufacturer. Now, Fine Lady Furniture were based, I believe, in Banbury, and they were one of the first mid-century furniture manufacturers to produce solid wood, and in this case teak, but solid wood furniture. And they produced these throughout the 1950s, or particularly the late 50s and into the 1960s. It's extremely well made. There's hardly any signs of wear or use to it at all, which made it desirable. And they can sell at the top end for in the region of £50 to £65. So I spent 23, so I'm going to list it on the website at 65 and see how we get on. Now, the really good thing about these, the cool thing about these nowadays is people don't necessarily use them as magazine racks. They actually use them to put your albums in. So do you imagine on a lovely Sunday afternoon, you can sat down, cup of tea, pick out 5 or 6 of your favourite albums from your collection, drop them into your rack by the side of your armchair, and you're set for a few hours. So I was really, really happy with this for £23, and I'm just amazed at the condition it's in, given it's, well, probably 60 years old. So very happy with it, and it's already listed on the website if you want to go and have a look at more detailed photographs. So there we go. That's the end of this week's film. Now, if you're still watching, please like, comment, share and subscribe. But also don't forget to hit that notification bell, and that'll tell you when new films are uploaded. I know there's a lot of issues at the moment with YouTube about subscribers losing their notifications. So please double check, and do take a second just literally to help support the channel by liking and subscribing. It's all completely free, as I'm sure you know. Right, if you're a new subscriber, please let me know where in the world you're from, and I'll add you to the digital subscriber list that should be scrolling across the bottom of the screen as I speak. But, as ever, the most important thing of all, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.